Hello everyone, this is your daily dose of escapism. Risk of Rain 2 is a computer benchmarking tool, cleverly disguised as the best roguelike ever created. For the people that don't know already, roguelike is actually a Latin term and stands for you will die a lot, also there's permadeath, have fun losing everything you worked for. It's also a genre of video games I am very fond of. Partly because I do try my best every day, only to find out that in the end it doesn't even matter, but mainly because the constant dopamine injections these games are filled with overload my ADHD with the brain to the point where I can actually feel like a proper human while playing them. Okay, so Risk of Rain is good. It's really good. Let me show you. I know you really want to hear what this game is about, but before you hop in, you have to choose your character first. Nah, just kidding, you play Commando. I hope you like vanilla ice cream and a 9-to-5 desk job, because that's exactly what it feels like. Great for learning the game and unlocking the more spicy characters. Oh yeah, all characters apart from the 2 DLC ones unlocks in the game. I know that's crazy for current year, but there it is. There's a wide variety of colorful characters you get to choose, including, but not limited to, a robot cabbage hybrid that has gained sentience and ended up in literal hell for unknown reasons. I am not making this up, by the way. This is 100% canon in the game. He is cool, but I personally struggle with keeping plants alive, so I prefer some of the other characters. Like the average video game female, complete with a bow and certain assets. Huntress is objectively the best character in Risk of Rain. Just don't let the guys on Reddit fool you with their complaining about how she's actually mathematically the worst one, because math doesn't matter when you've got auto-aim and the best secondary skill in the game. But if bow-wielding girls are not your cup of tea, can I maybe interest you in a tall, exoskeleton cargo hauler? Welcome to Loader. Yeah, she's a girl, and playing her is pretty much closest you will come to an authentic Spider-Man experience on PC, at least until August 2022. Apart from that, their gameplay is basically left click to punch or hold shift to punch, but big. We also got original character Do Not Steal Wally in the game, a robot that learned to flip off the boss of his maintenance workers after undergoing literal robot brain surgery. Again, not making these up. The last one I'm gonna show you is this poison dog that got abducted and reduced to atoms by Lovecraftian crustaceans. These crabs collect various different life forms and store them in the form of solid gems after their atomization. He got resequenced into himself when the containment broke and is now loose. Who let the dog out? I don't know, but he's adorable, just look at him. There are a lot more characters, but I will leave them up to you to discover. If you want to survive the waste of Petrichor 5, you will have to improvise, adapt, overcome. Role-playing as an exterminator and decimating the local wildlife population will net you cold, hard cash. And as we all know,
money can be exchanged for goods and services.
Woohoo! In this case, you can spend it on space garbage that has been dropped on this planet containing different items and equipment. To make it in Risk of Rain, you will first need to become a hoarder. Nobody is more powerful than these ladies and gentlemen of the collecting variety. To live the life of a hoarder is to transcend the bounds and chains of human existence itself. Become one with the never-ending cascade of junk and leave behind your mortal shell. This is a true Risk of Rain experience. Achieve godhood by stabbing yourself with used hypodermic needles you find laying around in this alien crack den to give yourself more attack speed. Yeah, sure. Or become the owner of your very own crowbar collection.
But I'm gonna own a fucking crowbar now, so that's the fucking shit!
Drink 20 energy drinks and become speed itself, or consume the fungus and witness pure power! Or just collect straight up gasoline and set your enemies on fire. Risk of Rain really has it all. In true hoarder fashion, you can stack all items as many times as you want to gain additional benefits. So, collecting 20 teddy bears is not a sign of mental illness, it is playing the game optimally. The only exception for the stacking rule are equipments. Think of them like an additional ability for your character. These range from strange fruits that you can gobble down to refill your health like you're some Skyrim character, all the way to actual missile launchers. But back to items. A true hoarder knows to not just collect, but instead synergize their garbage. What is a stack of Space Jam DVDs without a DVD player and a half-broken tube TV? Depending on the survivor you play and the items you already collected, the value of items will vary drastically for you. This is the good shit. Building your character and synergizing items is what really triggers the goblin part of my brain. But that's not all. At this point, we're like little rats in the Skinner box of our developer overlords. All the loot in the game is more or less random. So yeah, you could really need a medkit right now. But you know what? Here, have some more fireworks. So everyone becomes this hectic scramble against the RNG gods to create a somewhat reliable build, before the enemies hopelessly outscale you. Oh yeah, I haven't mentioned the timer yet, have I? Risk of Rain is a very realistic simulation of real life, because, as with our own mortal existence, the passage of time is constant and never ending. You see the big timer on the top right of the screen? The longer your run goes on, the stronger and more numerous your enemies will become. This sounds stressful, but this forces you to become efficient, to the point where you enter this magic flow state, pushing you to complete stage after stage. It only grinds to halt when you begin the mandatory teleporter event on each map, which forces you to defeat a boss and then fully charge the teleporter by standing in a circle before you can progress to the next stage. Hey, it's waiting, my favorite game mechanic. The game features 5 main stages. All of them, except for the 5th, come with different map variants. So one run may begin with A in Windows XP background, while the next one is just blue. There are also a bunch of more or less hidden bonus stages, but let's not spoil everything for you. After finishing the 5th stage, you will have to make a decision. You either leave the planet to visit the moon and kill a god, or you accept the endless purgatory and continue to loop, playing the same stages over and over until you transcend to a state I like to call EDO. Everything dies in one hit. Oh yeah, this applies to you as well. In theory, the game features a mechanic called one-shot protection, or OSP for short. This means if your health is above 90%, a single hit can't reduce your health to below 10%. This is a shameless lie by the developers, because while yes, in theory it may work, in practice you usually receive multiple fast hits and just die anyway. There are also dots like burns and bleeds that can quickly end your time on this planet. But if you manage to avoid getting hit and continue this endless limbo state of progress, you get a chance to unlock the hidden, true, canonical, supreme, advanced ending, crashing the game and permanently damaging your GPU in the process. So you probably agree by now, this game is pretty neat. But I omitted one tiny detail from you. What if I tell you that you can do all of this, not only all alone in your basement man cave, but actually with up to 3 more friends together online? Playing a roguelike together with a friend is something I never knew I needed, but goddamn is it addicting. There's absolutely no better bonding experience than a 2-hour run filled with god tier loot, only to be one shot one stage away from the boss. Multiplayer also changes how good items are. For example, glowing meteorite. In single player, this is a fairly mid-tier equipment that rains down meteorites that damage all characters standing in the blue circuits when they come down. Now, notice how I said it damages all characters? In multiplayer, this is a great way to make sure your buddy is paying attention, and if you stack few sets, you can even test which one of you got the better PC. Maybe the only downside to multiplayer is that sometimes everyone just goes full loot goblin mode, picking the stage clean and amassing loads of items, while you struggle to fight against the mobs with your 2 fireworks in a book. Yes, the rich getting richer is very close to real life, but I play these kinds of games to escape the reality of late stage capitalism, so realism is not really my first priority. An easy fix for this would be to get new friends, but well, how the fuck do you do that? So one more topic before we wrap this up, and you can stop procrastinating and do the task you've been avoiding all day. Or you could watch my journey below zero after this. It's 30 minutes of free content, just saying. It's going to be linked in the end card. Survivors of the Void was the first, but hopefully not last DSA release for Risk of Rain 2. For about 15 freedom bucks you get a whole bunch of different stuff, starting with 2 new survivors. The Spicy Commando and the Sniper. Okay, sorry, I mean Railgunner. Spicy Commando is alright, but oh baby, the Railgunner is just 10 out of 10, compliment to the chef. Playing her is like a cross between a COD quickscope montage and pre-mobility nerfed Bomb King from Paladins. I know, this is very specific, but it's the best I could describe her, and if you get it, please let me know. The DLC also adds a completely new game mode, which is basically a constant teleporter event. But better. Waiting is still part of the experience, but it's mostly just straight up combat with some build crafting thrown in. You also get a whole bunch of new items to fuel your hoarding obsession. Collect old coffee cups, watches, shurikens and many more ancient artifacts. There's also a complete new tier of items. They're corrupted, spooky versions of existing items that replace the original inventory when you pick them up. My professional opinion as a Risk of Rain expert, I like them. Overall, I would say the DLC is really good value for money, especially considering that with the ongoing inflation, $15 will buy you about 3.5 cheeseburgers from McDonald's, or maybe a small fried rat from KFC. But honestly, that doesn't really matter, because if you like the game, you would buy this, even if the developers would personally spit in your face for doing it. Or maybe because of that, but if that's so, I don't want to know, please don't tell me. Risk of Rain 2 is the pinnacle of roguelike game design, the king of just one more run, and the absolute best way to mend your graphics card. I already got one of my friends addicted, and if I did my job right, you will follow soon. Try it, get sucked in and abandon your social life for the next 2 weeks, complain under this video and then inevitably start your next run. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to find a new hyperfixation like this game, or to not miss out when I eventually talk about your favorite game in the future. Also leave a comment on what you think of Risk of Rain. I will reply to them. See you in the next one.